Welcome in the lecture on urban climate fundamentals. And let's now focus on most common modeling approaches. The first model you might have in your mind is the relation of the canopy layer urban heat island intensity and the number of inhabitants. And as seen in the figure, there is a slight increase with number of inhabitants for the urban heat island intensity. However, you also see that there is a wide spread of values for the maximum intensity, and this kind of increase does not really explain the variety. The statistical model we looked at explains too little of the urban heat island intensity. But once you consider the essential elements for local climate, you are much more successful and can explain much more of the urban heat island intensity. Normally, you would base these statistical models on measurements. As an example, you see the canopy layer urban heat island intensity for different classes of wind speed. You know that for higher wind speeds we have larger heat exchangers, so it's not a surprise that for the highest wind speeds the canopy layer urban heat island intensity is smallest, and it is largest for small wind speeds. In general, you should not only investigate wind speed, but all the different parameters like temperature relation. Also, there might be a relation to humidity or to day or nighttime cloud cover. All these should be investigated. And then you will find a kind of general relation that the larger the wind speed, the smaller the urban heat island intensity. If you have a low daytime and or high nighttime cloud cover, there is a larger canopy layer urban heat island intensity. However, the correlation coefficients you find differ for different cities, and even within the city, there are differences. The second group of models we should look at are numerical models. There are many types of different numerical models, and I picked here 3 groups which differ in the effects parameterization of the urban canopy layer. The simplest one is the roughness length or single layer urban canopy layer parameterization. That's the most used model approach. It's used in weather forecast and climate models. It's fast to integrate, but the disadvantage is that the vertical resolution is relatively coarse, so that results are not available at, for instance, 2 meters above ground. You have to have a vertical interpolation, which is mainly using empirical functions that consider displacement height and subsurfaces. The second group includes multi-layer urban canopy layer parameterization. There we calculate vertical heat, moisture, momentum, and radiation fluxes within the urban canopy layer, and also consider the changes in heat storage and anthropogenic heat emission with height. Vertical resolution is intended to be below 5 meters, but these models are still in development, so not all models have this high resolution. And you need larger computing resources than in the roughness length approach group, which makes them more expensive to use. The last and most expensive group to use are urban canopy layer resolving models. There you resolve each building, tree, etc. realistically. You calculate the fluxes in 3D and of course time dependent. The lowest level is below 3 meters, so you can directly use model results and you have them within a street canyon, for instance, but they really need very, very large computing resources. And this is not only because of small time steps in the integration, so time-wise, but also space-wise, because you have a lot of data to store. They are in development, and not so many are including all the parameters you might be interested in. So some have no humidity fluxes, many don't have precipitation. And if you are looking at urban heat islands, you would have to have a nesting approach, meaning you have to consider also what is around the area you resolve very well, so that you can have temperature gradients in that model and consider and calculate temperature gradients and eventually come up with urban heat island intensities. If you ask me now what model type you should use, then I have to say it depends on for what purpose you want to use the model. Statistical models are fast and can be applied also to future climate if you have the same urban fabric as today, because the models are trained with current data. Numerical models are more resources consuming. As I said, some use a lot of resources, and they also allow for the assessment of urban development scenarios in current and future climate. And you can calculate temperature and urban heat island intensities at different heights. For both of them, you have to remember that the data are not perfect. Neither observations nor models are perfect. So you have to know about the data quality and the representativeness, space and time-wise, of the results you achieve. Thank you for your attention.